What's good, champs? It's your boy Jerry. Welcome back to another episode of Champion Talk. Hope everybody's doing well. We got a lot of good stuff to talk about today. We got the Battle of New York, Brooklyn, and the New York Knicks. They had a great game a couple of nights ago. Came down to a controversial call. We're gonna get into that. We got we got some other big performances to talk about. And then on the NFL, Drew Brees just retired. We're gonna cap off his career, some achievements he did. And then Bill Belichick, that boy been going crazy in free agency, spending all that money. So we gonna dive all into that. So enjoy this podcast episode and stay tuned. J Squad. All right, fellas, we're going to start it off with that game that took place in New York a couple of nights ago. The Brooklyn Nets against the New York Knicks. Now we know there's a lot of animosity between these two teams. They play in the same state. The New York Knicks have been, they're known as the Mecca of basketball. You think of New York, you think of the New York Knicks, and not the Brooklyn Nets. And before Brooklyn, they were the New Jersey Nets. So it's a big game. And we all know when he was a free agent, a few years back, the New York Knicks were big on recruiting him. They was even getting billboards for him, pinning up billboards. And I'm pretty sure wherever KD went, Kyrie was going to go. So they had, I think KD and Kyrie had that. They had that established between them. So if the Knicks would have signed KD, they probably would have got Kyrie too. So that makes this game even a little bigger. And it was a good game, man. It was looking bad at first. The Knicks, not the Knicks, but the Nets, they are playing without KD. But at one point, they got up by, I think, like 18 points on the Knicks in the second half. But the Knicks, they rallied back, and it was close down the stretch. And it was even at one point where the Knicks could tie the game up with it was less than 20 seconds left. Julius Randle, I think it was less than 10. Julius Randle came off the, he came off the inbound. He got the ball, and they were down by 3 at this point. And, he went up to shoot a 3, and, he came back down. Now, the controversial part of this call was he got called for a travel, which I think is right, but he think it should have been either a foul or, he lost possession of the ball. But looking at that play, that's definitely a travel. If you play basketball, you watch basketball, when first of all, Kyrie barely touched the ball, but Julius Randle, he never lost possession of the ball. So if you go up to shoot the ball and you never lose possession of it, and the way you gotta lose possession of it is somebody has to hit the ball out your hand, you come down with it, that's a travel. So that was definitely a travel. But after that, he didn't get a review for it. I think he was upset over that. And then he was just livid after that. He had to be restrained by his teammates. He ended up getting thrown out. So, he was really passionate. It was a game he really wanted. And, hey, the New York Knicks, man, they've been having a good year. I think that game meant a lot for them, showing, Kevin Durant and Kyrie, we don't need you guys. We playing good basketball. They in like seventh place right now. And the Nets are in second place. So if the pace stay, if the standings stay steady over the next, couple of months, they could meet in the playoffs. And that'll be great. That'll be great for the NBA. The two teams in New York battling against each other. Something like how we wanted the Clippers versus the Lakers last year. That'll kind of be what that'll be like. Because for all these years, man, the Brooklyn/New Jersey Nets has been the little brothers of the New York Knicks, So, and the Nets organization is still looking to get that first ring. I think the Knicks got 2 with Walt Frazier, Earl DePore Monroe, and Willis Reed and those boys. So they haven't won a ship really since the 70s. So I think it'd be big for Brooklyn, for their GM, their owner, their organization to get a ring, to get another ring before the Knicks, because the Knicks haven't really won nothing since the 70s. That was so long ago. But anyways, that was a good game. My thoughts on that call, that it was correct. And I would love to see them meet in the playoffs. But moving on, man. You know what time it is, man. It's Dame time. Dame time. Dame time. Damian Lillard put on a show last night against the Pelicans, against a young, vibrant team. Um, they were down by 17 in the fourth quarter, and they were playing. Yeah, they were playing the Pelicans. Had them in the zone all night, and the Pelicans were tearing that zone up. They had a hot hand, but it was a really, really crazy game. Damian Lillard and Melo, mostly Damian Lillard. But Damian Lillard started taking over in the fourth quarter, and I feel like the Pelicans, they're a young group. They got kind of nervous. They got kind of nervous with Damian Lillard. Got a little bit overly aggressive, fouling him on those last two plays. So, and then Alexander Walker, that last play before Dame got fouled again, Lonzo threw the ball. He let it bounce right off his face. So I just think that's that's just young players making a mistake. And the Pelicans crumbled. They crumbled, and they fell victim to Damian Lillard. And that boy went for 50. He went for 50 points in 4 quarters, and I think he entering that MVP discussion, man. I think he got Portland in like fourth place, fifth place. I think he get them in third. He definitely got to be in that discussion because it damn sure didn't feel like it. But C.J. McCollum hasn't played for 25 games this year. 25 games this year. I haven't really seen too much of Nurkic this year. So he's really out there playing, without two of his best offensive players. And he got, in the Western Conference, he got his team up in fifth place. So, he definitely needs some MVP consideration. And he put on a show last night. And moving on, man. Hey, the Miami Heat, them boys getting their flame back. They done won 9 of their last 10. And they looking like that team we saw last year that so many weapons all over the place with Jimmy, especially Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler been playing out of his mind these last couple of games, really taking over games. And what I like about Jimmy is, he's such a hard worker. He try on both ends of the floor, and he be locking shit up, man. He's one of the best on-ball defenders in the NBA. Eric Spoelstra, proud to have his team back. They've been battling injuries and COVID all year. And they done jumped from the 14th spot, from the 5th spot in like 2-3 weeks. So, thought you guys need to know that, man. The Miami Heat are back. They're going to be a problem in the playoffs just because of their, those 3-and-D teams, with Tyler Hero, Duncan Robinson, guys like that all over the court that play defense. Iggy. They got Iggy, Jimmy Butler. Still got Kendrick Nunn. They got Big Bam down there. So they're gonna be a problem. They're gonna be a problem in the East. I think if you could get somebody like Bradley Beal over there, they'll really be a problem in the East. But with the way Philly looking this year and the way the Nets have stacked up their deck, I think I said deck now. All right, but the way they stacked up their deck, the Miami Heat gonna need a little bit more if they wanna, bang with those guys. So, I thought that was pretty interesting that the Heat, got their flame back. And then I think something we need to talk about, man, is Anthony Davis. Not only Anthony Davis, Kevin Durant, even Joel Embiid. These are 3 players that's very critical to their team. And all three of these guys are they've been unhealthy for these last couple of games. Well, not even last couple of games, but last couple of weeks. I can't even remember the last time I've seen KD play. Can't remember the last time I've seen Anthony Davis play. And we all seen what happened to Joel Embiid. Probably like 3 games ago, his knee did some freak stuff, looked like it hurt it. But hopefully thankfully his MRI came back. It came back negative. He only gonna be out for 2 weeks. But Kevin Durant and Anthony Davis is still dealing with that calf injury. So he was additionally ruled out for about 4 weeks. And then just last week they added another 3 weeks to that. So he's looking at being out for 7 weeks, for that same calf injury. And he's so pivotal. He's so pivotal to to the Lakers, and they ain't winning no championship without him being 100%. So, and then the same thing with the Brooklyn Nets, Kevin Durant. KD is the Brooklyn Nets is not winning without Kevin Durant. I'm not even sure if they make it out the East without KD. Even though James Harden has been playing out of his mind, and so has Kyrie, but I feel like what pitched their team over the top is it makes them OP, makes them unstoppable is Kevin Durant. But Kevin Durant has been nursing a hamstring injury for about I want to say about a month. He hasn't played basketball in about a month and a half. But the good thing is though, their teams don't really need them right now. The Lakers on like a 4-game winning streak. LeBron holding down the fort for AD, giving him as much time as he needs to get healthy. And the same thing with Kevin Durant. They done went out and got Blake Griffin. So they got Blake, James Harden, Kyrie, DeAndre Jordan. That kid off the bench, Paxson, man, the guy, or whatever his last name is, Paxson, the guy with the dreadlocks, he's been playing nice. Joe Harris has been shooting out of his mind. So, it looked like the Lakers and the Nets giving them guys as much time as they need to get healthy. And rightfully so, man, rightfully so. But it's time to talk about the NFL, man. We haven't talked about the NFL in quite some time. It's not too much to talk about, though. Drew Brees has retired. He's hanging up his cleats. I believe the man is 41 years old. He's coming off losing in the playoffs for three straight years, I think. Last year, this past season to Tom Brady. The last two, some unfortunate stuff happened with the Minnesota Miracle and the one with the bad call. The one that was obviously a pass interference. But let's talk about Drew Brees' career, man. He's a record holder of many things, man. He's the all-time leading passer in a regular season. All-time leader in regular season in passing touchdowns. He's the all-time leader in completions. So he's a stat sheet stuffer. I think he has the most 5,000 yards passing seasons for a quarterback. And his first Super Bowl run, he beat Brett Favre, all-time great. He beat Kurt Warner, an all-time. It's pick your poison between Drew Brees and Brett Favre. I don't know who I would rather have between those two guys. So I think Drew Brees, he's not in that top 3, top 4, but he's around 5 to 8 for me. 5 to 8 because you can't ignore all of these. You can't ignore all of these accomplishments, man. All of these accolades. So he's had a very a very profound career, and he got a ring. He got some hardware. He got something to put up in his trophy case. So. So congrats to Drew Brees on a great NFL career. And now it's on to the Knicks for New Orleans. They got Jameis Winston over there and Taysom Hill. They're going to be battling it out for that QB1 position. So, we're going to stay tuned to see what happened over in New Orleans. But moving on, like I said, Bill Belichick, that boy done been, he been dropping cash, man. I heard this stat that over the last decade, before this offseason, Bill Belichick has only spent $300 million in free agency. And this offseason alone, he done already spent half that. He done spent around $150 million on free agents. And he done signed some pretty huge pickups, in my opinion. He done got Matthew Judon. He played for Baltimore. He played for Baltimore last year. He's an outside linebacker that can do a little bit of everything. One of those, he's one of those. He can cover a little bit. He bring pressure off the edge. Those are the type of linebackers that Bill Belichick like. And then you got Nelson Aguilar. We done seen a lot of ups and downs from Nelson Aguilar. He done been a meme at one point, but That's an upgrade for them receivers they had last year. And then to me, they're one of my favorite signings that they done picked up is Hunter Henry from San Diego, a tight end. That's something that Cam Newton, if watched him, his early years in Carolina. Cam Newton had a great connection with his tight end Greg Olsen. So I think bringing Hunter Henry in with Cam Newton, that's gonna improve their offense and wonders, because Cam Newton, like I say, he loved tight ends. And that offense last year, I can't even name the tight ends they had on the team last year. They were not good at all. So Bill Belichick, he got his GM hat on. He took the coach hat off for a second, and he's signing players. I was really hoping he could have got Kenny Galladay. Kenny Galladay is a free agent this year. And when we think about it, we never seen Cam Newton really with a dominant wide receiver. He had Steve Smith on the back end of his career for a couple of years, so we can't really count that. And yeah, Cam Newton has never really had a distinctive wide receiver one. So it would have been nice to see him get Kenny Galladay. So we gonna see. We're gonna see what else Bill Belichick do this year. I think they had like the third most money in cap space this year, and he signed some other good players too, some other notable defensive players. But we're not gonna get into that. And man, that's really been it for this podcast episode, man. Hope you guys enjoyed. For all my guys listening out there on YouTube, if you enjoyed this, please subscribe, leave a thumbs up, comment down below what you think. All my podcasters out there, if you're on Apple Podcasts, subscribe. Spotify, give me a follow. It's all appreciated. And that's it, man. Curtains.